GF of 8 years cheated, unsure of my next steps. I am 28 male and she is 30 female. Been together for 8 years and the cheating happened in the last 3 months. She made a new friend in a hobby of hers. She is a biker, and they got close and kissed, made out. She is adamant that they didn't have sex, but I am just going ahead with the belief that yes, they had sex. She ended it on her own but didn't confess. I was informed by the partner of the other guy. I am feeling emotionally numb, not angry or sad but just numb. So it's really hard to gauge my own inclinations here. She has never cheated before and we have a very good relationship, both sexual and emotional. So maybe it will be better if I try to mend our relationship before nuking it? She has been distraught and is willing to do anything to repair our relationship. She says she now knows with 100% certainty that she wants to spend her life with me and will do anything to prove it. I am yet to tell anyone else of the cheating, so I can't go to my usual sources for advice. That's why I came to this sub, to gain some perspective and helpful advice. She has never cheated before and we have a very good relationship. Man, you can't know that. You found out by AP partner told you, relieved face, relieved face, relieved face, relieved face. Honestly, man. To me the fucked up thing here is that she didn't tell you. Someone else had to tell you. If it was just a stupid kiss that meant nothing and nothing else, she would have told you herself and apologized, and maybe that could be salvaged. But someone else had to tell you. She would have kept it from you forever probably. Can you forgive that? I know you're numb, but maybe this is the best time to make that decision since you're not emotional yet. She never cheated? No, she just never got caught. She's guilty because she got caught. She never cared about your feelings when making out with other dude. Call it quits, my guy. Relationships aren't the most important things in life, but your mental health is. She says she now knows with 100% certainty that she wants to spend her life with me and will do anything to prove it. How convenient. She needed to get dicked down in order to be 100% certain. She didn't tell you, but yet you are sure she has never cheated before? Why are you so sure of that? If his partner didn't tell you, you wouldn't know about this one either. Run. Or you'll regret it later. Well, regardless of your desired outcome, you need to fire a shot across her proverbial bow by letting her know that you are, at least, considering divorce. Not suggesting you nuke anything. Why have you not asked her to tell her friends and family? Are you still sleeping in the same bed? Having sex? You should not be acting normal. This is an important step to her taking responsibility for her actions. What else is she doing besides saying she is sorry? Has she opened her social media, showed you her messages, rather than deleting them, apologized and taken responsibility? Because it really doesn't sound like it. My 24F boyfriend, 24M, is blaming his cheating on me. Hi Reddit. I caught my boyfriend of 3 years texting a past fuckbuddy sexually explicit conversations. This has been going on for over a month. I think we've all seen these posts before, so I won't go into a ton of detail. The real problem is now he's blaming me for his unhappiness in the relationship, and that's why he cheated. I didn't try hard enough. I never solved problems. I always argue. I don't believe he feels any real remorse, and this is probably what hurts the most. Sigh. Anyway, any tips or advice on how to regain my sanity and try to rebuild confidence? Edit to say. And this happened all on Valentine's Day. Exclamation mark. First thing you need to do is make him your ex-BF. How is it your fault when he did those actions? Man, that's messed up blaming you. It's not your fault. He is not loyal. It's his loss. Leave him. He is gaslighting you. He is a grown man who is unable to take responsibility for his actions. He will continue to blame you for everything. It will get worse. This is emotional abuse. Get out now before you waste any more time on him. You deserve better. Gaslighting, run away. The emotional abuse starts now. You only cheat if you're a pos person. If you're not happy in a relationship, you talk about it and try to work on things, and break up if talking makes no difference. You may not be perfect, but then nobody is. He is at fault for his cheating, and probably much more besides. He's a pathetically excuse for a person, and you're way better off without him. Show him the door now, and tell him to come back for his stuff at weekend when you're either out or have friends and family around you. Let me fix your title. My 24 female, ex-BF, 24M, is blaming his cheating on me. There, I fixed it, and it probably is the best way for you to regain your sanity and rebuild your confidence. Leave him and work on yourself for a while. Find yourself. I went through the same confusing thing last month. Found out he was cheating on me and planning to break up with me while I was away on a trip he paid for. He blamed the cheating on the fact that he thought our relationship was already over. He said he knew I would break up with him if he told me how he actually felt about having kids after thinking about it for the past few months, and not communicating it to me. He showed zero remorse and didn't apologize until I mentioned his lack of empathy. He's gaslighting you into thinking you're the wrong one. You are not. Don't let him mess with your mind even more, and don't question your actions because you did nothing wrong. Stay strong, girl, connect with friends and build a strong support system. You will get through this. Heart. Update. I, 20 female, found out my mother, 43 female, had a secret baby and it's not my dad's. OG story. Hello. If you don't know what the issue was, then the story is linked above or just read the title. So those who DM'd me and friends I have spoken with all told me to tell my dad, and that's what I did. At first he was in complete and utterly denial, and even when I showed him the picture of my mom with my secret baby brother and used the texts my mom and gran sent me as proof. I had never seen him cry before, ever. Not even when my uncle died a few years ago I never saw him tear up. Eventually my mom came home and my dad just screamed and shouted at her. It was awful. I showed everything to my brothers and sister, and my half-sister actually got into a physical fight with my mom. I felt so guilty about saying all this. Mom has gone to my grandma's. Neither of my brothers are talking to her, and when it got out who my mom's affair partner was, my mom's friend group kinda disowned her in a way, as he, 26 male, was the son of one of her close friends who already had kids. I wish I could just go back to not knowing about any of this. I don't think my family will ever recover. My older half-brother is in England and is adamant on staying there. My brother is angry with mom and isn't speaking to her either. Dad is just crying and saying he's going to hire a cutthroat lawyer to divorce my mom, and mom is distraught blaming me but is demanding I talk to her as she doesn't want to lose any more of her children. Too long did not read. Mom had a secret affair baby and grandma covered for her. Told dad and everyone has cut mom off. I'm feeling a lot of guilt. You are not to blame for this at all. Your mother is an adult who knowingly and willfully betrayed your father and family. She could have stopped at any point before pregnancy and ended it, but she did not. This is what happens when you break someone's love and trust. She had a love child with the guy. Insane. None of this is your fault, Op. Your mom made her choices. She also made the choice to keep the photo in her purse. This was going to come out eventually, and it's nobody's fault but her own for what she did and what she hid. Your family may be different than it was before, but it will recover. You don't owe your mom anything, but you are also not required to cut her off unless you want to. You can make whatever choice feels right for you about her and how much she is allowed to be in your life. Your mom is a shitty person. Plain and simple. She got herself into it, she can deal with the repercussions on her own. Insane how many people these days don't ever stop to think about the consequences of their actions. This isn't your fault. This was bound to come out eventually. And if it came out in 20 years, when the kid was old enough to take a DNA test and find out for themselves, then the thing is you'd be disowned by everyone for helping your mum cover it for 2 decades. You did right by shortening that timeline. This sucks. It really does, but if nothing else, remember. This was not your fault, it was your mom's. She made the very decision that led you to where you are and where she is. You did the right thing. Your father was nothing but a good man, faithful husband, and a caring dad. What your mom did was downright evil, and the only thing worse than having a secret kid affair at the edge of town would be somehow tricking your dad into thinking the kid was his and raising it. Actions like that need to be brought to the light, and your father needed to know the truth about the woman he thought he knew. Yeah, it caused a rift, but it needed to happen. There's a silver lining at least. All of your original siblings are grown, so there's no child support to worry about, and after the divorce she can just hook up with her boy toy and be the mother to his 2 kids and their toddler. She still gets a family after all. This is not your fault. Please remember that this is not your fault. It is your mother's fault. She is facing the price of her action. She has no one to blame. Only herself and herself alone. Your dad deserved better than her. I am glad that he is making the decision to divorce her. Please be there for your dad and your family. Take care, be safe, and good luck. Please keep us update. This is only your mom's fault and no one else's. It would have come out eventually and you spared your dad a lot of pain in the long run. My husband, 30M, is having an affair and suddenly wants to divorce me, 31F, after a happy marriage. My husband and I have a great relationship normally. We are best friends. We do many things together. We share the household responsibilities. We both have stable careers. We have inside jokes and even a sort of made-up language. I work really hard to try to be a good wife. Albeit, I am not perfect. However, I even started going to therapy 2 years ago to challenge myself. I cook, I clean, I work hard. I'm handy. I make lunches. I am generous and spoil him with things he likes. I like to host. I take care of myself and maintain my appearance. I let him do what he wants, go out with the boys, whatever. We have been together 8 years, married for 4 years. In 2020, he had an affair with his work colleague. He had spent several previous months talking to her and gaslighting me when I noticed a sudden shift in his communication with me and our relationship. One day he suddenly told me he wanted a divorce without any real explanation other than he doesn't love me anymore, and he sees me as more of a best friend than a wife. He left that night to go stay with a friend, and I had a nervous breakdown. After some time passed and some sleuthing, I figured out where he was staying and that he was with his affair partner. I confronted him about this. He was angry initially. He kept in contact with me and flip-flopped about coming home or staying with her. Eventually, I gave him an ultimatum, and he came home. We worked hard to repair our relationship, went to marriage counseling, and I never hung the affair over his head. I just wanted to move forward. He gave me all his passwords and said I could access his accounts when I wanted to, but I never bothered because it felt weird. As counseling went on, he was saying that he was happy, things were going really well, that he had been putting in the effort to recognize my love languages, which he had, and that I had been an understanding partner throughout. 2021 we had a pretty great year, and shared some memorable experiences. He started talking to me about wanting children, talked about names with me, bought baby items with me, and told me to make an APPT to get my IUD out. In Sep I worked out of town for 3 weeks, but we talked every day on the phone, shared pics, and texted. He continued to talk about kids until almost end of November. At the beginning of DEC I noticed he started drinking more, gaming more, staying up way later, and seemed more distant than usual. I talked to him about it, and he said he might have SAD. I let it go because he was going to see a psychiatrist to be diagnosed for whatever was going on with him. The psychiatrist diagnosed him with ADHD and Class B traits of bipolar and narcissistic personality disorder. We still had a decent December, but I was feeling the effects of his distance on my emotions. Eventually, on Boxing Day we were at a friend's house, his friend. His friend had been drinking and lost his ever-loving mind at me for a comment that did not warrant it. I started crying, and my husband sat idly by and did nothing to support me. When we got home I asked him why he didn't and he became defensive, saying that maybe he's not the kind of man I need. I immediately recognized these red flags and asked to see his phone. He pretended he couldn't find it at first, then got it and went to hand it to me but changed his mind and said, "Actually, I'm setting a boundary, I'm not letting you see it," and pulled it back. I told him he had lost that privilege the last time he cheated on me. Sure enough, when I opened his phone, he was having a conversation with a girl and calling me his roommate. I questioned him about this and he admitted he had been talking to her since about end of November, beginning of DEC, and he knew her from his home city. I asked if they sexted and he said they had shared nudes with one another. I asked if they said they love each other, after 1 month of talking, and he said they had. I told him to cut her off if he wanted to work on our marriage again and he said he would. We started marriage counseling weekly instead of monthly. He told me he wanted to work on things with me and if he didn't he wouldn't be going to counseling. I confronted the other woman and she said, "I know what I'm doing and I don't give a fuck." Nice. He never cut the girl off, despite my boundary, which enraged me. His excuse was that it traumatized him to let people go. We separated but lived in the same home and he said he would go to therapy more for himself. Anyways, January 2022 goes by and we are still separated. He still attends weekly counseling with me. He insists he still wants to work on things. Then he makes plans to go to his home city. His parents bought him tickets with points and he said he's going for a month to heal and spend time with family. I asked him if he was planning to see his affair partner, who lives there. He said originally 100% he was, but that he would just not have any relationships including the break from ours. He left. About 4 days into his trip I get a scathing text message from him and then his partner there tells me when I reply, he's busy. From there forward he flip-flopped about our relationship and continued to see this girl. About 7 days into his trip he announced he wanted a divorce and that he was moving back there. He applied for a job there and quit his government job here. He said he wanted to sell our house and try to do everything as cheap as possible. He then proceeded to block me and many mutual friends. Then he began posting about being in love with this girl on his stories, including today for Valentine's, and is clearly infatuated with her as he posts heart eye emojis on all her pictures. People see this and send it to me. To be clear, from what I have heard from people who know her and know me, she is an obvious downgrade both personality-wise and physical appearance, so that doesn't make sense. He seems to want to go through with the divorce, but hasn't put in any of the work to break down fees associated, get the house appraised, get a lawyer, anything. I have been dealing with it all. Anyways, I guess I just feel confused and hurt. I don't know why this is happening when we had a seemingly great marriage, and he was literally just talking to me about having kids. I know that he probably has a fair fog and feels a fair limerence. However, I wonder if he will ever change his mind or if this is really what he's going through with. Part of me knows I don't deserve this and part of me wants to work on things again. You did not have a seemingly great marriage, he's been trying to leave for years. Let him. I'm sorry. Contact an attorney and find out what you need to do. Get STD, STI testing. Be strong. And stop trying so hard to keep someone who wants to leave. Your first paragraph describes this wonderful relationship that is just a fantasy. He has had 2 affairs on you now. He doesn't love you and you seem to have lost your self-respect. Just because he wants to throw you out doesn't mean that you're rubbish. You should get the divorce finalized. Do all the work yourself if you have to get him out of your life. When he loses that sparkle in his eye for the shiny new woman, he'll realize he fucked up and you'll be long gone. Why are you still with him? He's not going to change at all. Why do you keep holding on to him when he has no respect for you or your relationship? How many affairs are you going to forgive? Wouldn't it be better to divorce and move on? He had an affair and is diagnosed with several psychological disorders? Sounds like a keeper. Whether he changes his mind or not. It's not fair to you. You aren't his toy or backup plan to just be there for him when he decides he's ready. Do not have a kid with this man to try and fix things. It won't fix shit and then you have the stress of co-parenting. Odds are he is going to come crawling back with his tail between his legs once as he realizes the grass isn't always greener. I know you were with him for a long time, but to be honest, I think you deserve better out of a partner. And I think you know you deserve better. This sucks. He sucks. I'm sure it's going to hurt for a long time. But you will be better off. It's not fair for you to have to babysit your husband so he won't cheat? Like what the fuck trash behavior. Good luck. And remember, you deserve to be treated better. Divorce feels like the best possible outcome here. You're young, it'll hurt, but you'll move in and find someone right for you. Sadly, cheating is rarely something couples can get over as the fear and suspicion never goes away. It sounds like he was lying to himself, trying to do whatever you wanted, therapy, to make things easier. You deserve more, be sad, feel your pain, but ultimately, let him go quietly. And try not to compare yourself against other women he may date, it won't help you mentally. Best thing for your own mental health is to get the divorce and split of assets over quickly and quietly so you can heal and move on.